I kind of came up with this I try to be smart, okay, kind of paradox title, Learning to Unlearn, because I don't know whether or not I found my calling, but at least I could share you a process which I went through over a couple of years of this very interesting concept of trying to learn and unlearn, and the idea of learning as a constant thing. I'm asked to press the clicker. Okay. So choose a path, learn. So I think today, being in a university, we've been always told by people that, it's important to learn things, to get skills. So I wanted to share with you a story. I have a 6-year-old daughter, and I had this conversation with her when she was 5. So she was the first year of kindergarten. And one afternoon, I came back with her, and she looked very worried, and I asked her, Teja, what's the matter? And she was, oh, Mama, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. And I looked at her, and I said, you're 5. You have a lot more time to think about it. And she was, no, I have to make a decision. I cannot read, I can't write, and I don't like being out in the sun. And I was a bit taken aback, because I was thinking, so young, and I think it has to be about her peer pressure, things outside, because it really didn't come from me. So somehow in the school, she has been taught, or she's been implied by her friends, that she needs to make a decision about where she wants to go early in life, even before she's exposed to things. So I think that was that kind of made me wonder, how about the rest of us? When we were kids, did people around us kind of told us that we needed to be something? So that was a very eye-opening conversation I had with her. So the next thing, multiple paths. Sometime in 2003, I was very lucky. I met this great professor, and he brought me and my class onto a study trip in Bangkok. And this was the first time actually being on a study trip. And because we were a small group, we did something called budget traveling. This is way before Air Asia took over the airs. So most of the time, we had to take public transportation. I remember traveling from Hat Yai by train and then going on buses and boats and tuk-tuks. And because of that, I was able to see a lot of the things around. And this is just me traveling in Laos. I mean, I had a great time. It was tough because being on a budget, I didn't have much money, but it forced me to take public transportation, eat local food, be with the people, and at the same time immersed myself with these different perspectives. So this is a Laos whiskey. So it's a bunch of reptiles, that catch any sort of reptiles and just put it in a big glass jar, and it's a welcoming drink, okay, in Laos. And these are interesting exotic foods in Hanoi, in the market in Hanoi. So the idea is that I realized after traveling for a while that the perspective that I see in KL is nothing. The life that I have is nothing compared to what's out there, the different perspectives. I had a chance to swap my life and be an English teacher in a Buddhist monastery in Laos. Totally unprepared. It was just totally a thing I did by chance. So what I learned is there were a lot of things that I did not see. And when I came back to KL, obviously, things didn't really sit really well into me. I felt a disconnection. I felt my life was just fading away, My relationship suffered, my marriage suffered, my work suffered, because I felt this big disconnection. Things that I was seeing outside didn't really jive with the things I was told, okay? So one day after a travel, I just decided to quit my job. I had a very comfortable teaching job. I was earning quite well, but I knew that if I were to stay in a 9-to-5 job, I would die. And I was still young, I was 30, and I was not ready to submit myself to this. I had no idea what I was going to do, but I know that I could not do this. So, clicker. So the question. So I quit my job. I was out of a job for like almost a year. I had no income. I had no savings. I just know that I could not lie to myself anymore. I had no idea what I wanted to do either. So a lot of my friends were really upset with me. You know, they were pissed off. They were saying, "Hey, Suzy, you're a very smart lady. Why are you staying at home?" You know, my husband was really pissed off because that time I just had my kid, and you know, he was the only one earning all the money. So he got really upset with me. So every day I was hearing all this negativity from people, but inside I didn't know want to give up yet, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. Okay, so I was questioning. I think at one point I was at the lowest point in my life. I was not earning any money. I could not go out. Every time I had to go out, I had to ask my husband for money. And being someone who had really great insecurities, that was really, really embarrassing for me. So one day I decided to meet my dad and I came up with this decision, okay, I'm going to study. I want to pursue my doctorate, finish my study. So I said, okay, I'm going to go and see my dad, you know, and my dad is not exactly the warmest person. So I tried to go and meet him and get his blessings, sorry. But the thing was, the second that I told him, Dad, you know, I think I want to pursue my studies. I think I want to go and do my PhD. The second I said that, my dad was, "What? You're going to fail. You're nobody. You don't know anything." So he shot me down without blinking an eye because he was very, very certain that I would fail. This was a bad decision. Out of being out of a job for almost a year, that really killed me. I felt like crying. I cried, actually, when my dad said that. So I think I was really crumbling. He destroyed my self-esteem, but he gave me an exit door. He said, "Okay, Suzy, if you're really sure about doing this, give yourself 3 years. Give yourself 3 years to do something in the scene, in the area, be involved, get on the ground, and then you come back and see me in 3 years and tell me that this is what you want to do." So I think at that point, of course, I was really upset. I was crying. I went back, I cried. But what he said was in my head for about a week. He gave me a question. He gave me a challenge. So I told myself, okay, I'm going to tell my friends, everybody, 3 years. I'm going to tell my husband, just give me 3 more years, and I'll show you I will do something. Okay, so that was a question that became my quest. Okay, so I was really reeled up, and I looked and I searched and I hounded people. I was the best hustler. I hassled people. I wanted to work with people that I loved. I wanted to do projects that I loved, which means that I could not get paid because I believed in networking. I believed in networking, and this is one of my biggest projects that happened. I grabbed, and a lot of the works that I was doing for free, actually, just because I wanted to be in the good books of certain people. So you have to sacrifice. So 2 years after that, we came up with this great idea of doing an entire festival of art and using digital technology, because I have a passion for history, they say. So what we did, my small gang of friends, was actually producing the first building projection mapping in the country. This is not cheap, and this was something nobody has done before. So we really need to be smart, and I really was so lucky to get really awesome people to work with me. All right. So in this event, it was great because I got to work with historians, musicians, robotic engineers, teachers, singers, artists, videographers, and they all came together to celebrate this concept of heritage and technology. It was a huge feat. Nobody did this before, And it was so hard to convince the sponsors because I had no projects or benchmarks, But eventually it happened, and it brought some of the best Malaysian talents to this project. And for me, this was such a great personal achievement. I was not in front, I was at the back. I was just like the organizers. But I felt that this was a great project because it brought in so many people, so many talents, and it proved to a lot of people that Malaysia has some of the best world talents. The only problem is they don't have a platform. So this is what happened. So, hopefully, I'd like to share with you a very simple, simple steps, because I think we like steps and it's very easy to understand. But just for you guys to go back with something. And of course, these are things that I kind of picked up over 5 years. The first thing is, it's very important for you to step out. You need to step out of your comfort zone, because if you're comfortable, you'll never think. Okay? And the worst thing is, you can't listen to yourself. You have all your friends want to say something, your good friends, your best friends, they all mean well, yes. Okay? They have the good intention for your well-being, but you know yourself better, so you have to step out. Second, by this time, you must follow your heart. You have to believe in what you believe in. You have to have principles. You have to develop them. Once you develop principles, you have to be able to sharpen your practicality. You have to know how to network, or you have to know how to sell your idea or talk to people. Okay, so you have to somehow bridge your idealisms inside of you with the practicality of what's going on. Third, set a perimeter. Okay, so this is when you've already identified what you want to do, you have to start to build a fence around it. You have to differentiate yourself, the old self and the new self that you want to be. So when you have this perimeter, start to build on it. So what I mean is, pull in the right people, pull in the right friends, right? Pull in the right resources and build on your idea. You have to demarcate your space. It's very important, so you know that you're moving. 4, okay. Keep good company, okay? Critics as antagonists. So it's always good to have a good bunch of friends. We love working with people that we love, with chemistry, right? Positivity is good. But I assure you, you need to have a critique. You need to have someone who tells you, oh, that thing's not going to work. Oh, you guys are going to fail. Because the good thing about having those kind of people is that you have two opportunities. One is to prove them wrong, or secondly is to find if there's some truth to what they're saying. So either way, it's going to strengthen your idea. So I think it's good to have constructive criticism. Don't take it personal. Always look at it from a positive standpoint. They want to help you improve your work. Okay? And lastly, ding, 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 repeat steps 1 till 4 until you die. Okay, so it's a cycle. That's what I'm saying. I've not found what I want to do. It's still a finding. This is the thing that keeps me going day after day, night after night. It's finding the next project. Okay, so it is a blend of idealisms and practicality, but you have to be real with yourself and you have to know how to move it. So I think that's the end of my speech or talk. So thank you very much.